Hi everyone, welcome to day 4 of 7 days of regulation. Today we're going to be containing and soothing the nervous system. Today we are going to have a prop, so we're going to use a blanket or a towel. So it's just something you can wrap around your body, your upper body, that's all you need. So go ahead and pause and grab that. And then when you come back, we'll get started. So the first thing we're going to do is going to wake up our proprioception, so our ability to sense where we are in space. So we're going to start with the legs. We can use a sweeping, a tapping, or patting, or a squeezing motion. So choose your own adventure here, and I'm going to use a squeezing. We're just going to squeeze the legs. Like I said, you can pat, you can sweep, you can change it up, going all the way up the leg. Okay, this can be really helpful if you have like kind of a floaty feeling, like a feeling that you're not really there in your body. This can bring you back into your body. Okay, and then wiggle the toes. Compare one leg to the other. Notice what that feels like, which one's easier to sense. It's just noticing and moving to the other leg. So again, sweeping, patting, or squeezing. And I'm going to pat this time. And I'm going to move to squeezing now. Like I said, you guys get to choose. And pause and rest. Eyes can be open or closed. So just noticing the legs. Is there some warmth there? Maybe the legs feel a bit fuller. Can you feel one easier than the other? So just noticing. And then we're going to move to the arms. So you choose which arm you want to start with. And first, squeezing that hand of the arm. Again, we can pat or sweep as well. And then moving up the arm. Okay, and pause and notice which arm is easier to feel. And then moving to the other one, squeezing the hand and going up the arm. Okay, and then just pause and notice. And then the last thing we're going to do is just bring the hand up to the neck. Just give it a gentle rub, massage, and then move into the head. So rubbing the head, giving a little massage, use the pressure that you like. And then we'll pause and just notice what it feels like to be in our bodies. Good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to move into a soothing rocking motion. So letting the motion originate from the tailbone, the very base of the spine, and just start the gentle rocking motion. And maybe you want to imagine, this could change it depending on where you live. Maybe you're moving like seaweed in the ocean or in a kelp forest. Maybe you live near the mountains and you want to imagine it's kind of like rocking like a lodgepole pine, a tall pine tree, maybe a palm tree. Or you can just stay with the sensation. And I just noticed a nice breath coming in, which is a nice sign that some regulation is coming in. My nervous system is settling. So notice if that's happening for you, or maybe you feel some gurgling in the belly, or some pleasant tingling, or some yawning. All nice signs that your system is settling. Okay, and then coming to stillness, we're going to do something called pendulation. So it's somatic tracking, and this can be really helpful to have this skill when you're feeling activation, like anxiety or something like that, and noticing the activation and then moving to something more pleasant, and then we can come back and then move into something more pleasant. So it's a really, really helpful skill that I use with a lot of my clients. Okay, so first, just noticing where you might feel some tension in the body. I'm noticing some in the back of my neck. So just scanning the body and noticing where there might be tension. And if you are tension free, congratulations, but you can create some tension by squeezing the fist and noticing that tension. Okay, so just noticing the tension, noticing the edges of the tension and how far it reaches or how small it is. Noticing the temperature of that area. Maybe the texture, if it had a texture, what would it be? Noticing the tightness, and then moving to a place where you feel looseness or relaxation in the body. So if you've got that tight fist, you can just notice what it's like to relax the palms. Palms of the hands can often be a loose area, or the feet, the earlobes or the nose, the forearms. So just noticing where there's some stillness, some relaxation or looseness in the body. Okay, so I'm noticing my hands. And maybe bring in just an image of somewhere you like to be in nature and see if you can deepen that softness, that looseness, that relaxation. Feeling the edges of it, the temperature, and then bringing the attention back to the tension in the body and noticing that. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's changed. So just saying hello to that tension. And then moving the attention back to that area of looseness or relaxation in the body. Noticing where in the body exists and maybe the outline of that part of the body and where that looseness sort of stems from. And then bringing in an image of maybe nature or just a place you like to be, or with a person or a pet that you like to spend time with. As you think of that, noticing what happens to that relaxation spot in the body. Does it grow? Does it stay the same? Okay, and then we'll just let that go. And I want you to grab your blanket or towel. And we're going to wrap that around the upper body. So we're going to wrap it so it is nice and snug across the shoulders, just like that. Oh, sorry, touched my mic. And just notice what it feels like to be wrapped up. And take a few breaths here. Eyes can be open or closed. Just notice what it feels like to be kind of snuggled up in that towel or that blanket. And this can be really helpful if you're feeling anything big. And just taking some breaths here and letting that settle. And if you'd like, you can just stay here wrapped up. And then when you're ready, just slowly unwrapping yourself and just noticing what it feels like now. I take a breath there, notice what that feels like. Okay, notice how you're feeling now compared to the beginning of this class. All right, that's all for today, and I will see you tomorrow for day 5. Have a great day.